I have posted a class lab there, and it is called lab loops.java. So what would you do is you can just open it in any editor if you like, and you can compile and run it on the command line if you like, or you can open a new BlueJ project and call it something that helps you. So I'm doing week 10 today, and it's about loops. I've created a lab for you, and today you will work, and I'll take some rest. And it's not rest. I'm going to come around and I'll answer all your queries, if any. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up for you so that we have. So create, or you can just copy the code and open it in TextPad, whatever works for you. I already have it, so I could put it in my project, but whatever works for you, however you want it. So I'm going to also, hopefully it will open for me. Okay, there it is. And it's called lab loops. Okay, I should have said lab on loops anyway. So create a new class. It's called lab loops. Remember, the name of the file should exactly match the name of the class. However you want it, whatever works for you. So I've created 17 questions for you. The 17th one I wanted to kind of rephrase, but it depends on time. If we get more time, I'll add more stuff. I'll teach you new stuff today. But till date, this lab, which has 17 questions, if you noted, it has a main method. And then somewhere it says in the space below, write a loop. And in some questions, it will say write a method. So the first ones are saying do them right here. And then somewhere, I think 11 onwards, it starts says create. Oops, spelling of println is wrong. Sorry about that. Seems like I didn't compile it or run it because there was no code in it, but println spelling is wrong at a place. Let's compile it to see if there is any other error. No. Okay. So the println was spelled wrong. So starting 11 onwards, I've started you to say, okay, create a method and so on. Right. So now it is your job today to do this exercise, complete it in 2 hours and 50 minutes. And if you need help, you call me over. Or I'm just going to move from here to there. You can take your neighbor's help if you like and say, oh, are you stuck or how do we do it? But I would highly recommend trying to do it yourself first. And then if you really can't do it, then you ask my help or neighbor's help. Because at the end of the day, you have to know how to code, right? So now I'm trying to do your work for you in class. So you don't go home and practice. You don't go home and practice the program I do or listen to my lecture again. So let's try this. Let's see if this is more successful. Okay. So start doing this. Start doing the lab. If you get stuck and you're open, you can ask a question openly for me. So you can say, Anju, what are you expecting? And I can explain if a question is not clear. So start doing it. Start writing your code right where it is. So when I say system out println question 1, after that, whatever you write your answer, I can see, oh, that's the result of question 1, question 2, question 3, and so on. The advantage, you're learning, and now you're not copying, but learning on your own. Right?
You don't have to execute the code, right? Because it would all be in the comment section. That's much time comment.
Come again, what are you trying to say?
Like the code we would be writing, right? For the loop we would be writing that would be.
That will be here, right here. You write it here.
Oh, yeah, I got that.
I mean, you'll write it and you'll execute it. Otherwise, how will you know that it works?
All the loops we will be executing them one by one.
One by one. So I would recommend write a loop, execute, see the answer is right, go to the other one and keep adding and then doing it, right? At the end of the day, I know I've used a star and a double star. It's not a Java doc comment, but just by virtue of, I think, habit. So suppose the question says in the space below, write a while loop that will display the numbers 1 to 10 on different lines on the screen. So basically, somewhere it will say on different lines, somewhere it will say on the same line. Neatly will mean maybe you'll leave a space between them. You can put a comma between them. You can put a tab between them. It depends on you. So printlns, printfs, print, all those, and loops, do while for all that is. That's what you're practicing today. Sorry?
That's what us how we present that.
Yeah, right? So, but the question must be answered, right? It must be correctly answered. So you start working on it, ask me questions and I'll answer it for everybody if required. And if you want to help your neighbor, keep in mind that help has to be to a fine line. Don't give him the answer, but say, try this or this. And again, it's up to you, however you want to do it. So this is just trying something different. And I'll try to keep this for the rest of the semester. I'll do something and then I'll tell you to do something. And maybe that will, you'll pay more attention to it. You'll say, what do I get out of it? I don't get any marks out of it, but maybe if marks all you're looking for, then unfortunately, maybe not. But if you are trying to learn something, maybe yes. And if I see yes, students are participating and I'm seeing results and you can show it to me in class, I can give you a mark for participation. Every percent counts, right? So you work today. Let's see how it goes. And try to work independently. But this is not an exam. So let's see how it goes for you and let me know how it works for you, today's feedback, and then I'll try to rearrange my lessons. So we've done while, we've done do while, we've done for, we've done strings, we've done equal, more case method, and so on and so forth. But when you come to it and you get stuck, I can answer as for a class or I can answer individually. So you write, you make mistakes, and you learn from your mistakes. I've heard Andrew is not prepared for class, so I thought let me ask you to do something. And I'm here for help. Don't feel shy. Ask, okay? So this is download this from Blackboard. It's on Blackboard. Questions that nobody can do or the major class cannot do, I'll do it with you. So I'm hoping you'll be fine for the first 10 at least. And you know what? Let me do this. Let me also do it with you so that when you ask a question, I can show you the solution afterwards. So whatever variables you require, whatever you do it yourself. We're not talking named constants or anything here. We're just learning loops today, okay? You want me to show you an example, or are you okay? Do you understand what I'm expecting of you? An example? Okay, here. Let's look at one example. So here, so I've said, please, in the space below, write a while loop that will display the numbers 1 to 10 on different lines on the screen. So what did I do? I took an integer. I could have taken a byte. So as I said, we're concentrating on loops today. So I'm not talking named constants or anything. Okay. And then I'm saying while the value of I is less than or equal to 10, just keep printing and increment I up and go back. It will automatically go back. Make sense? Does that make sense? So start with an initial value of 1. You have to do a job 10 times. So while the value of I is less than or equal to 10, what do you want to do? System out println. Why? Because I said show it on different lines. And then increment I and it will do that. So this will happen for 10 times. So to make it neater, you can give us, like, question 1 is good enough. You can put a better answer saying printing the first 10 numbers in new lines, but don't waste your time on that. This is what I'm expecting from you. Is it making sense? Right? So do, while, all that I've asked of you, that's what I'm kind of expecting. So if you want to declare some common variables at the head, sure. So if you need an I all the time, maybe just declare it here. Or you can call it index or whatever.
Do we have to take care of the data types even?
Come again?
Do we have to take care of the data types even? Because it's just 1 to 10, so you have taken an int.
Yeah, you could take byte if you like. Yep. So as I said, I'm not bothering about named constants or types today. I'm working on loops today, right? My aim is that you understand loops in all their forms, up, down, right, left. That's the aim. Yep. You could have taken a byte and it would work. Sure. It would have worked. It will work. So int is safe in the sense if I get a bigger number, but sure. So there is an example, okay? So I put it separately so that I could use I over and over again now in my questions. So here is an example. Is it making sense to everybody what I've written there? Good. So I'll also do it with you. And again, if there is a question that really nobody can do, then I can open up and show it to you, right? Are we okay? Everybody copied this one so that you know what is expected? Okay, sure. No problem. I'm in no hurry. Today I've left it to you. So I know there are some students in the class who know programming more than others. So it's okay to help, but then keep in mind, don't give out the answers, but kind of say, you should start with 1 and you have to stop at 10. That's how I would explain it. Start at 1 and stop at 10 and increment I every time. And I can start giving marks for participation if you're interested, if you're really doing it. Good. Everybody's taken it? Everybody knows what we are doing, right? So byte or short or int, I'm not that finicky today about that. Though you should always think correct. Okay, so let me also try with you. Yeah, sure.
I don't understand why it doesn't close like a comment here. And then I go down here because I wanna.
What do you want to do?
Close everything until the end of main because I wanna try my method. And
so which method are you writing?
Right here, close it, but I can't. I have my.
Yeah, because I have comments in between, right? So it kind of clashes with it. So what you can do is, what are you using? Eclipse. Okay. So all that you want to comment, select it, and then somewhere in edit there should be comment, and it will comment everything.
Right.
Okay, do it that way, because I have comments too, so it's kind of clashing with some of those. So if you want to write, I haven't asked for a method, so I'm not expecting you to, but if you're doing it that way, comment other things and then do it. So where it says while, you write a while. Where it says do while, you write a do while. Where it says for, you write a for. Okay. So I would work independently so that I know where I stand, so that we know what's going on. But again, that's all I can do. I can. That would be better. So when you talk about it, it would be better to use a method that doesn't get you. That works either. So we can talk about it when we come to that question, but You're just way ahead. Usually in my questions, if I'll say case sensitive or in case sensitive, so that you always know. But if nothing is mentioned, I'll take it either way. And neatly means neatly, the numbers not together. Keep in mind, guys. And I would recommend do one thing and run it. Do one thing and run it. So that way you know that, oh, it is working. Every time you answer a question, compile and run, compile and run. So just stick with int today, just for your own good. Otherwise, then you will have casting errors and so on. If it doesn't say on a line or on different lines, you can do whatever you like. I did it for the first two, and then I thought now they know how to do it. They can do it either way. You get stuck on an error, call me. Yeah. What error is it showing? Let's see. Okay, so it's talking about read the errors with me. What is it saying? It's saying a bracket is missing somewhere. Then it says the equality or something, so not a statement. So something is wrong in the while statement itself, right? So something to do with brackets. Let's look at that. So we have x mod 2 is equal to 0 is 1 and x is less than or equal to 10 is another. Init is like x semicolon while this is Is x already defined as an int before, or are you using a new variable every time? Okay. Should we be able to do something about some semicolon? And that's not very helpful. Are you using BlueJ? What are you using? Oh, this is just Notepad. Okay. Sometimes errors here. Okay, leave a space after and before the percentage sign. The operator before and after. Oh, I know what's happening. Okay, so take your x mod 2 and put that also in brackets. Now we have more errors. Okay, so we are mismatching brackets somewhere. For sure, let's see. X. X is an integer, 2 is an integer, y and x is less than or equal to 10. That's in a bracket. That's in a bracket of its own, and then that's in a bracket. It's same. Any statement before it means system of println question 2, semicolon int x is equal to 0. Y is equal to 0. I was just thinking maybe the priority of equal is whatever answer is getting. No, the and the two conditions have to be in brackets. There's no problem. You can put the while condition in brackets. That's not the problem. But some brackets are not matching, so that's one and that's two. Okay, so let's see. Let's solve this one and we have. Okay, so remove the extra ones that we did. Let me count brackets. Something to do with brackets for sure. Okay, so now that's one condition that's in bracket. Do you have blue J? Yeah, copy. I would like to see because it's not making sense at all. Because it's talking about semicolons and brackets, and there's nothing wrong I can see. So, Nuja will give me a better idea of what it is. So, just create a new project. Go project. Go new. Just give it any name that you like that you can remember. It's like a folder. Okay? The folder will be created by that. So it's going on the desktop. Okay, so now create a new class. Call it lab loops. Okay, and send okay. Now take your code from here. Do control AC. The whole thing, right? And then double click that, open it, control AD. Little control AD, yeah. Okay, now let's run it. Okay, so now do a control, do a compile. It's giving the errors. Okay. Okay, so somewhere your brackets are okay. Let's go up. You put some brackets wrong in some place. Go up before the question. You didn't copy question. So you have an extra bracket before the question. Okay, so let's see. So that we will do afterwards. Okay, so now let's see. That's the while, and that's all you have. Okay, now let's come down. Now it's same. Now do a control K. Do a control K. See, now it's saying bracket is expected here. So now let's try to put
X in bracket.
no, you don't have to. Absolutely not. So why is bracket being expected? It's not. Let's move on. Let's look at your first answer. Number is equal to 1, while number is equal to 10, number is plus, semicolon, semicolon. That's it. Okay. Now let's try to put x mod 2 in brackets. The whole thing, not x mod 2. It's going out. It's strange. Brackets causing problem. Unless you press some control character, which can happen, but there is no limit here. So I'm going to write my right statement, right? Okay. Sometimes some control character comes and you can see that. And that's all I can think of. Okay, so why we wanted to say that the value of x mod 2, so x is a variable, mod 2 is 0, that means it is an even number. That's my first condition. And the value of x is less than equal to 10. That's the second one. And that's the close of the third one. And see it and compile it. Still seems simple. Okay. What's wrong with it? This is just a way to look at it. That's not equal to 0. So X. I just want to think of that. So just comment this will go down, you can do that. That is a way of doing it. Just select this all group, right? Select all these lines and then in somewhere you should edit. You should be able to see comment. Let's see what does it do. Oh, it's still seeing the same thing. There's an error right away. No. No, 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 no. Valid, yeah.
Whenever you're dividing, it should be the very value. Yes.
The modulus operator in. Oh, it's the percentage, not semicolon, not exclamation mark. The operator is wrong. Percentage. When I'm looking at it, I'm saying, why isn't it doing it? The operator for modulus is percentage.
Sorry for that.
That's okay. I mean, I'm seeing that too, and it's not. I'm not. I'm only paying attention to brackets. That's the not operator, okay?
Yes.
So if you get stuck, guys, call me. Hopefully, I can help you out. And again, I would highly recommend write one, compile, run. Compile, run. That way you know, oh, are my answers okay? Okay, I'll be there. And see that they are neat, that I should be able to read them, right? So if something is coming on the same line or whatever, it's your job. I'll be there. It's your job to see that the answers are neat and clean. Yes. Like a method called ASCII, and yeah, and then if you uncomment out it with 10 minutes. Yeah, so I also not so first you write the method variable and then yeah, then it will say true, false, true, false. Then I know what to double check. Yeah, but all you're doing is you took the value of x as 0, right? And then what did you say? You said if it is equal to 0 and x is less than 10, print it out. And then increment x again. Okay, so somewhere a condition has become, so it becomes 1. Oh, the condition becomes false, comes outside the while loop. Yeah, but what about when it becomes 1? Is 1 modulus 2 equal to 0? No, no. So that condition becomes false. False and true becomes false. It comes out of the while. Yeah, you can't use it. That's what it should. I'll be there. Yes. Yeah. So use the same method, yeah. can't see your screen ready. Can you make it a little brighter and let me look at my question? No, that's okay, but I should be able to read the question. I don't know what I asked because I. Okay, so what does 11 say? Show me what does 11 say. Okay, so the 11 says create a method invalid password accepts a string as an argument and returns true if the password is valid and the password is happy. Okay, and what does 12 say? Using a while loop and invalid password and set up a loop that will keep us. So you write the loop right here and use the method. Right? So you're basically asking the password from the user and using it, right? And the password, the valid password. So you just write the method and then the method is used. So I know where it is. Okay? So 11 is telling you to write a method and then you're using it in 12. So definitely I know whether it works or not. Okay? Yes.
Something wrong.
Okay. So what is the statement that you've written? Equal and then plus. This line. Yeah. What are you trying to do? What do you want?
I'm just having it display similar to the.
Yeah. But what are you trying to do with this statement? You want to say the new value of plus 3 is equal to the old value of plus 3? Okay. So that operator is wrong. You have to write plus 3 again on the right hand side. Before the plus, say plus 3. So you say the new value of plus 3 is the old value of plus 3. So write the variable and then you talk about it. Okay, so now what you're saying the new value of this variable is the old value plus 3. That's how you say it, right? That's what you wanted to do at the beginning. But notice something, you started with 3 and you said, what is the initial value? That's for the 3, that's for the 3 count, that's for this 3. But what is the initial value? The first value, what do you want to take the first value of this? Or whatever it says. No, you want to take it as 3. So your initial value of plus 3 is 3. So this variable, so there is a box called plus 3. What should you put inside it before you take it?
0.
No, 3 because your first is 3. So you put 3 inside. Print it and then add it. Print it and then add it. So we'll take this, if you want to call it 3 count or whatever. Okay, so remove this. Okay, so you want to print out this 3 count, right? Remove this. And then what is the new value of 3 count? Not plus plus. 3 count is equal to 3 count plus 3. Right? By doing this, you are just saying go by 1. So now you want to go by 3. So the new value, so remove the plus plus. Say is what do you want to assign? What is the new value you want to assign? The previous value 3 count plus 3. Yeah. Makes sense? You must have done this when you did the 2 one also. The second question.
I just had it.
Okay, but that's not what I wanted to see. So there is, if you had done that, then you would have done this also. So fix this one, right? Because you should know how, that's the main thing, you should know how to increment or decrement by a different number rather than 1. So I'm not asking for math and you need to solve it. I'm asking for can we increment and decrement.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. You have to clear the terminal after you have the program because that stuff out there before I put it in there. So that's what it is. So you can be like, go reopen into a console or your browser.
I would try myself first, guys, and if you get stuck, then I would ask somebody.
Yeah, so
But if you start, if you start asking before doing it, then you won't understand. Yeah. So what it says is I cannot even reach this stage. It isn't. So which statement is this? Okay, so you finished it somewhere where you shouldn't have. Okay, so that's question number one. You say why life less than 10. That's so different. Often that statement behind you go up and let me see. This semicolon somewhere. You didn't put an extra bracket somewhere, anywhere. You just started. Okay, so let's go. Let's see this. J. Was it called lab? I think I called it lab roots. Okay. So let's do something. Since we're working in Delhi, can you do one start from here? There's not. I don't think there is. Let's try it. Maybe Delhi doesn't like it and New Jersey it. Let's try. Papaya. So it's going to be unreachable. Unreachable means that wouldn't come to, okay? Print it out. No, there's nothing wrong with it. That's the only, is there a way of bringing your mouse over it and does it give you any extra help? Why is that okay? Yeah, I is it an I or an L? The one. Oh, no, in the while loop, that's what is wrong. Is that an I or a one? You wrote a one. So 1 is less than 10. So it's in an infinite loop. So you never come out of it, so you cannot reach this state. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
So you wrote 1 is less than 10. So is 1 less than 10? Yes. So it will loop forever.
Yeah.
So if it will loop forever, it will never come here. And it is telling you I can come. So it was an I, not a 1, right? And I couldn't see somewhere. Yeah, but that's not how you usually do because you don't know what numbers are like. Okay, so what we do logically is this. We assume that the first number is the numbers. Just assume. And then start comparing with and then change it to 25. Right? Because this way you know who will enter.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So you can, so the logic is to assume the first is the max and then compare with the others, ultimately you find it. And minimum also the same thing, you assume the first is the max.
Right.
Because we never know, right? I don't want any submissions, but I would like to come and see it run. And that way I can say, oh, you did it. And if I'm going to put down names, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do participation yet, but Yeah. Okay, so the first question was related to 10, then there were even numbers, and then there were multiples of 3, and then 3 will be yeah, because of the 3.
Yeah.
The equal sign by being 4 and
I added 6.
yeah. So I've done. Okay, so now it's a point. Okay. So do y. Yep. Yeah. No, no, these are, right? It's just how we start. Yeah. So here is where. And then. Question 11 was to write the method. So question 11 was to write the method, and then question 12 was to use it in a loop. Okay, so the difference is you don't have to call it before, but you can call it this. 14 or the and then how many tries it will make is the so. And did you kind of see what the random number was? Yeah, so, yeah, so that means that's the answer, right? So that if I play the game, I may play with that. You know what I mean? And then go to the answer. And then if something, yeah, so the highest and minimum do it, and then this. Clear. So that's, so it's just because you know programming, it takes you that time, but the class on the whole will take method. So yes, I noticed you just read the class when you get bored. Like, that's how it works. It's an introductory class, and that's how it will work. So whatever works for you, you can stay, you can read. It will return true if the password is valid, you should say, right? Not invalid, right? Guys, question number 11 should say it will return true if the password is valid and false otherwise. I've said invalid. I just see I've said invalid. Question number 11. Can you make it bigger for me so that I can read it properly? Okay, so it says create a method invalid password accepts a string as an argument and returns true, and that's what I said. Oh, so it was called invalid password. Okay, so that's, yeah. So this method is returning you true if the password is invalid, and it is returning you false if it is valid, and the valid password is invalid. Okay. You don't necessarily have to create a unique user. So what you're doing is you're checking, is it happy? And you can simply say return false. I'm not even asking you to print anything. I'm just saying return true or false. Right? So you just say return false, and right here you say return true. Okay. And then you write the while loop there for the question number 12. The while loop, yeah, using a while loop. Now you use the method 11. So this is while loop. No. Then it will be out of place, right? This is returning a Boolean. Question number 11 just returns you a Boolean value, true or false. That's it. No printing, nothing. You don't print in method, guys. It's not a thing to print values in a method. Yes. No, you cannot. While has a different structure altogether. We did it last week. You try to? Okay. So what question is this? Which question are you on?
This is 1, 2, 3.
Oh no, we are not doing false. When it says while, use a while. Okay. And the while loop, if we had opened an example of last week, we will do last week. Yeah. So when it comes and say, we'll try and then call me again and I will show it. Right? I just showed your first answer. Did you copy my first answer when I showed it on the... You were busy with your phone. Okay, so let me show it to you. Okay? Guys, if I say I need a while, I need a while. If I say I need a for, I need a for. Okay? So just so that... Just because... Here. So here, look at this while loop. This is how while works. You start with an initial value like in for, but we just have to keep it as a different statement. And then you are saying while I is less than or equal to 10, the same that you put in your condition in the for. And in for, as the third part, you increment I up by 1. Here you do it inside the while. So the difference between while and do while is while will first check the condition and then enter the loop. The do while enters the loop and checks the condition at the end of the loop. That's the difference. Okay. That's the difference between do while and while. Yeah, so practice the way I've said it. I know fors are much easier, but somewhere it will ask you for code with that. Okay. So I'm not attaching any marks, so don't feel stressed about it, right? But if you cannot finish it, make a point to finish it and come back and ask me questions. What's your name? Owen Brown, because I think I have an Owen Waddle also. So don't get intimidated by what I'm doing. I'm just seeing participation. So Owen called me over and he had done his stuff. So I've just said participation. So at the end of the day, maybe if everybody works well, we can start giving some bonus marks. Okay? How do you do a for loop? Okay. Let's see an example of a for loop. Which question is that? Question number? 7. Okay. So I'm being asked for an answer to question number 7 just because maybe you don't remember a for loop. So let's see how a for loop is written. So in the space below, write a for loop that will display the numbers 1 to 10. So the for loop has 3 parts to it, right? You start for, and then the 3 parts are where do I start, when do I end, and what do I do at each step. So if you wanted to create a new variable, sure, I already have a variable called I. So I'll start with 1. I'll give it an initial value of 1. That's your initialization. Now, for your information, you can, if you like, do more than one initializations. I could have another variable that I can use here. I can do this also. So the initialization can have any number of variables initialized. Okay, just so that you know. Okay, so what is now the second condition? When do you want to stop? You want to stop or you want to go on till the value of I is less than or equal to 10. Oops. That's when you want to stop. So that's your, and it could be a compound condition if you want it. So second comes the condition, right? And the third is, what do I want to do with I at each step? I want to increment the value I up by 1. You can write it this way if you like, or you can use the plus plus. So that's your for. That's how it works. So initialization, condition, and increment or decrement or whatever. And then of course it says display 1 to 10. So all you have to do is put your system out println. Doesn't say anything about on different lines or whatever. So I'll go system out println so that I don't give the answer out for others. And all you have to do is print the value. That's how you write a for loop. Okay? So the initialization can have any number of initializations. You just separate them by commas. The conditional part can be a compound condition. So you can say and or not logical operator. It can be just not a simple, but you can put commas there. It is a compound condition. And the third part is, what do you want to do with I, the loop variable? Do you want to increment it, decrement it, multiply by 2? And again, it can have multiple parts. You can be working with more than one variable in the third part, right? So that's allowed. So for can be more complicated than this. But I haven't done it, so I haven't asked yet. But you can have any number of variables in the first part, any kind of processing in the third part, and a compound condition in the middle. You can leave them empty too, but then you have to be careful. It could be an infinite loop and so on. So for now, I'm just going not tricking you. Yeah. The only thing is not all students in that class, so they won't be able to do it this way. So the normal way for data types is to make it a normal game and then say max is equal to
Q plus one.
then you don't have to do this. Because you used a for, I think therefore you have to kind of give it an initial value. Yeah, because you use it. If I would do it, I would just kind of use it in while. And yeah, but it says create a method that will prompt the user. So, yeah, so you create a method, so it prompts, but yes, you still have to initialize it for something. So, yeah, but that's a correct solution. The only thing is, yeah, and students do not know yet about the digit classes and that, so I'm not expecting it to be. Usually when you work with numbers, and you don't need to work with methods of the class, then you don't use the class. Right? There is a max for something method in the digit classes. So I'm not expecting my students to know that yet, but sure. I mean, the logic is not wrong, but definitely if it says use a method, then please create a method. How are we doing? Is it working better? Are you able to kind of figure out things? And again, if not, call me and I'll kind of help you out a little. So everybody's seen the for? So when it says please write a method, do write a method because I want you to write methods, otherwise you'll forget writing methods. And where it says do while, write a do while. You may need to initialize something, you may not need to initialize anything. And again, you will get syntax errors and that will help you to kind of reiterate why am I getting them. Always see your answer. You may be off by one error. It's saying till 10, it's only printing till 9. You're saying 10, it's printing till 11. So be careful about those off by one errors they are called. And that's why I'm saying write, run, write, run. How to generate a random number? Google it. Google it.
I tried, but
No? There is a class called random.
yeah, I put it in class.
Okay, and then there is a method called nexting that will get you an integer. Okay, so what is the question? Let's look at the question. What is it saying? Random number between something?
Yeah.
Okay. So this will be a simple number. Have the computer select a random number between 1 and 10. Okay, come back. You know how to go to the API? Okay, so go to the API. So you want a limit 1 and 10, right? The ones that we don't want documentation, we have to. Like I show it to you, so you can see the random number. Okay, let me do it. A question has come up, though. What question number is it?
14.
14. Okay. So student is asking, how do I create a random number in Java, right? So how do I create a random number? What is a random number? Random number means it could be any number that the computer thinks of. So if in games, the computer is thinking of a number and you're saying, oh, what it is, what it is. So let's see how to create a random number in Java. So there is a class called random, though there is another class also, a better class. But anyway, so we have random numbers in Java. Let's see if we can come up with some help. And I usually don't go to Stack Overflow or any. I go usually to the documentation. So there it is, Oracle Docs, right? And here is your random class. So the random class has a few methods. We are looking to get a random integer between 1 and 10. Look at these next methods. It's saying returns the next pseudo-random uniformly distributed int value from this random number generated sequence. And then there is a bound here, right? So let's look at this one. What does it say? Or in this one, returns a pseudo-random number uniformly distributed int value between 0 and the specified value. But between 0 and the specified value, it says. You want it between 1 and 10. Right, so maybe whatever number you get, you can subtract 1 from it or something, but there is a way, okay? Or if I use this one, all it is doing is giving me a random, and you can set a seed. Do you want to talk about random numbers? Maybe pay attention here for 5 minutes so that when you do the question, it makes sense. What is a random number? A random number is a number which is something that you are not aware of randomly. So when you play a game, so if I say, oh, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10, and I say, guess it. So the number that I'm thinking, suppose it is 5 and you say 6, I say, go lower, like you play games, right? Hotter or colder or whatever. So now I'm asking the computer to think of a random number, and then I, as a user, are going to guess it. So how do you tell the computer to think of a random number? Now there is a class called random, like a class called string. There is a class called random in Java. This allows you to create random numbers, double random numbers, floats, integers, so on and so forth. Right? So our aim is to go to this class. Now these random numbers are called pseudo-random numbers. Why are they called pseudo-random numbers? Because every time you run the program, it will create the same. So if it was creating 1, 2, 8, 6 and you run it again, it will again create 1, 2, 8, 6. So they're not absolutely random, but you can always change them by setting the seed. You can say set the seed to something. So what is a seed? It's like a normal English word seed. So if you want to grow a plant, if you put a seed of apple, an apple tree will grow. If you put a seed of guava, a guava tree will grow. So the seed allows you to, every time if you give it a different seed, and that seed can be any long value. So I give it 1, it will create a set of random numbers. I give it 5, it will create another set of random numbers. And now they're no longer pseudo, they're actually completely random, right? So the seed allows you to say, oh, start with this seed now, start with this seed. So the seed is a number that is used in the algorithm to create a random number. So definitely if the seed is different, the random numbers are created differently. So now it is saying the computer thinks of a random number between 1 and 10, and your job is to find it out or to kind of guess it and tell me how many attempts it took for you to guess it. So here is the class. It belongs to the util package. So you'll have to import this random class. And here are some methods. So here is a next int method. It says returns the next pseudo random uniformly distributed. So it kind of uniformly distributes it from this random number generator sequence. So if you just say next int, it will give you an integer value. That's all it does, right? But if you look at the next one, it says it returns a pseudo random number uniformly distributed value between 0 and the specified values excluded. So your upper limit will be 11 because you want it till 10. And the 0, it automatically starts with 0 and you don't want that to be 0. So you can do this. You can put an if statement and redo it, then redo it. That's one way of doing it. Or I think Owen has done something else. Owen, what did you do for random numbers to be in the range 1 to 10? I saw him doing something.
Int equals math.random times 10 plus 1.
So he did some math and he said, I'll multiply by 10 and do it 1. So this is a method that you can use, and you've used the random class and the random method on it. Yes, so, but here is one way. So this is one easy way where it says, oh, you can go till 11, give an 11 here, but it will go from 0 to 11. And if it is 0, you can redo it. Or he has used the random method, and the random method MNOPQR. The random method doesn't belong to the random class. Which class does it belong to? Math. Okay, so he's used the math class. So now the other option is using the math class, which is quite there's another, because I think maybe that would be much easier for you guys. So here instead of random, I'll put math, because you notice how it's kind of giving the name of the class. Oh, 404 error. Why? Math.html didn't come up. Oh, well, I thought it was easy if it was called random. I'll go to the util package, or I'll just go to the API here, and then look for Control F, the math class. No, not the java.math. Next, there it is, math class. And then there is a random method here also. Let's see. Yeah, let's see what does that do. MNOPQR random. So either here returns a double value with a positive sign greater than or equal to 0. So this is still greater than equal to 0. So I want you to start from 1, not from 0. So he did it that way, right? So as I said, you can add 1 to it if you like, or you can do an if statement. So you can use math.random method, or you can use the random.next. So again, it will help you think. Maybe I haven't done it with you, but that's okay. I've done string with you, so you should be able to do it. So the whole idea, as I said, is you do it and practice finished. Yeah? Good.
No, I also
No, gave up?
No, but sure. Here's what I said.
No problem?
Also, I guess what is that?
That is a double. Then you have to cast it, right? So you have to take a double and then cast it into it. Did you complain about it? Sometimes it will say loss of precision and won't allow you to go from a bigger tag to a smaller tag. So it will not say any question. Yeah. But I just thought of random class. Yeah. You lost your power cord. Let me see how much battery I have, then you can use mine if you are interested in staying. I'm not at bad. I'm not doing bad, so take mine for now. And then remember to return it to me, okay? No, yeah, see if it will do. Yeah, Lenovo is different from the Dell, yeah. I have a Lenovo one at home. So the whole idea. So you have homework today if you cannot finish it in class. You can take a break of 20 minutes now if you like. So don't stress yourself, but this is your homework. If you don't want to do it, then you don't learn. If you do it, you want to. So if you can do it, I'm here. I will put up the solution afterwards too. I will, but not today, not tomorrow, because I have a class, but after the class, after tomorrow's class. But the whole idea is you learn. Take a 20-minute break, guys, and then come back. And as I said, I'll help out. So now, hopefully, you can do it. The random thing. And I'll have lunch too. And I must confess, I'm not sure. Was this the section who filled in my feedback on Blackboard? Was the Monday section who did it? I'm not sure. There was a remark saying Anju leaves the class during break to have lunch. She should be there to answer our questions. Now that's very odd, right? The break, I need to eat too. No, like I'm hungry too, but I still, so that's one of the complaints. She leaves class during the break. So if you need me, let me know, but let me eat, I can eat and talk if you like, okay? I can do that. So try, and then ask. That way the onus is not only on me, the onus is also on you. And as I said, I can start giving bonus marks if that helps. So if you are leaving, if you've finished and you are leaving, show what you've done to me so that I can put your name in participation, okay? So at the end of the day, so that if there are bonus marks, you can say, oh, I did it. If you're kind of trying to leave the class.
Like, I've done most of it. I just have like the last one thing.
And you want to leave? Sure, that's up to you then. It's up to you whenever, if you want to show it to me for your name up, I can do that.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
If you don't need my help doing the other things, that's fine.
Yeah, it's just easier to concentrate when I'm like.
I know, I understand, but we'll never be in that world. We'll always be with people, right?
Yeah.
Whether we are on job or whether we are in class.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so you'll have to learn to
Block
block it out.
Yeah.
You're right. Maybe the media services may have extra power supplies. Sometimes when I forget mine, I have to borrow it from them. But I'm not sure about. You can go and ask if you like.
Trying to do the code of keepers.
It's not a good idea because you never know what's happening, but it's up to
Yeah.
you. They're in the E building in the basement.
Or do you say the actual power outlets or
Sorry?
power cords?
Yeah, the media services E building basement. There's a media services. And you can borrow it and return it at the end of the day. They have something like that. Take your iCard with you to identify yourself. And show the random number generated, otherwise you'll keep guessing for years and maybe you'll never guess the number. So it's a small thing, but show the number so that you can check the program works. I mean, it's cheating, but how else will you try to kind of see it works? So when you generate it, show it on the screen for yourself. Basement 008 or something, but as soon as you go, it's kind of, you can see it. There's the IT department, there's the media services and photocopier. So you'll just see them. Most welcome.
I have a question.
This will be a simple number decimal. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now the first thing. Did you read the next int method's help? It said that this upper limit,
So it is 0 to 9.
yeah, but we want it from 0 to 10, right? So if we go to the, you're using the random class, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're using the next int method.
Right.
And the next int method, bound one, is excluded. So you want it till 10. So if I want it from 1 to 10 and you write 9 here, that 9 is excluded. So we'll go on till 10 and then we'll add 1 to it.
Okay.
Right?
So how do I make it exclusive?
Oh, put 10, then you will have, so if you now take 10, it will find all random numbers till 9 and you've added 1 yourself, so you'll never go beyond 10. Okay, when you said 9, you're only getting till 9, so you will never get 10 ever.
Oh yeah, so it goes to 0
to 9.
To
If you
9.
say 9, no, if you say 9, it goes from 0 to 8.
Oh yeah.
If you say 10, it goes from 0 to 9.
Yeah,
Okay, and we want 1 to 10.
And goes from 1 to 10.
1 to 10, right? Okay, now what?
Right, so creating variable to check the number.
So what is that answer 14? I don't get it.
Yes, you just check it if when you types it.
Oh, you mean the counter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many attempts?
Yeah.
So you try to use again, variable names should be self-explanatory, okay? Take a chair, sit and take a chair here, okay. So now you are saying,
Yeah, no, this versus the question to bring
have
in
the computer select a random number and then continuously ask the user.
Yeah, continuously ask the
Okay, so it doesn't say which loop to use, right? So you've used, okay. So now what would be a good loop? Ask the user, then check. Ask the user, then check. What would be a good loop to use?
While or do while?
Yeah, the difference between while and do while. You'll have to, here you initialized it to 0 and you had to kind of start with it. If you use a do while, you can ask first and then the checking can be done after. So I don't need to initialize it, right? So there you will say do while answer 14 is equal to question 14. So you ask the user, and if it is 14, and I don't want anything, I think, what did it say? Oh, it said, correct, it took you these many attempts. So where are your attempts? You're okay.
And every
Okay.
time he fails, he goes up by 1.
Oh, up by 1. So now think about it. So he goes up by 1, but when it comes to while, the attempts again become 1.
Okay.
So you take that statement out of your while.
Yeah, that makes
right?
sense.
And now your attempt should start from 0 and it should only increment by 1 when you actually enter the loop.
Oh yeah, because whenever they try the first attempt, they get correct, and
It should say 1. Okay. So but that has to go outside while.
Yeah.
And a do while will be better because you're asking and then checking, asking and then checking. This is not wrong, but then you have to think of a value to start.
Makes sense. Yeah, I thought it was why we were.
It is easy in this one because 0, okay. But if we can't think of an initial value, then it's a problem. So it's always better to ask and check. So use a do while and see if it makes things easier.
Right,
Okay, no problem. Come, Andrew. So you can come to me if you like. I can come to you if you like, or whatever works. Okay. Okay.
Just return true or false. Everything is just like repeating string.
Okay, now the first thing, that's what is wrong. Password is a string. Strings cannot use equal and not equal operators, remember?
Okay, so do I have to do this? Do I have to declare another variable?
No, You take a string variable and the method you use here instead of that operator is equals ignore case or the equals method. Remember I gave that tip in assignment number 2. So that's what is happening. Okay. So equals ignore case or equals whatever. I mean, if nothing is mentioned, equals ignore case would be the safe one. Yes. Giuseppe, right? Okay, so I have marked your vector. I'll send you your, or I'll tell you the weightage. Okay?
So I think we're supposed to use a boolean for checking
Create
the
a
password.
method. So you will have to create a method outside the main.
I have
Okay.
that down.
Okay, let's see that method. Okay, so you took a string and there is the problem. You do not compare strings with the equal operator. Strings are compared using equals or equals ignore case method. You just did it in assignment 2.
Oh, okay.
Right, so the method is wrong. Okay, so it is saying it is invalid. So if your password, so you will have to use either equals or equals ignore case. So password dot equals ignore case in happy and not of that return it.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
And once you do that, then let's see what's happening in 12. It's okay, yeah, slow, right? Especially when you're talking in your language. It's people are trying to concentrate. A helpful reminder in case you've forgotten, strings are compared with equals ignore case method or equals. You just did it in assignment 2, right? So the difference between equals ignore case and equals is equals ignore case. If I'm trying to compare happy with happy in any case, it will match. But equals will exactly match happy. So with passwords, usually we want to go case sensitive. So I would use the equals method, right? Because with passwords are case sensitive. We all know that. So let's use the equals method. You cannot compare two strings with the equal operator. You've done that in assignment 2, so should be able to do it. So don't forget that. I'll be back in 5 minutes, guys. Just need to use the washroom, have some. And I'll be back, okay? Give me time.
break कनाडा की वेबसाइट पे फेडरल गवर्नमेंट वेबसाइट पे दो स्टेप्स है, एक आप पेपर में अप्लाई कर सकते हैं, तेरे को भी करना है. You can apply either on paper or you can apply online. If you're applying online, you need to have the copies of your documents and you need to have a valid credit card for paying. तो तेरा वैलिड नहीं है, पे जो करना है उसके लिए कितना मांगेंगे, जगह बता दो. उसमें तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते, कितना रूल तो उतना देना क्या पड़ेगा उसमें। तो है पे ऐसे थोड़ा करना होता है। मेरे को तो लगा कि सेमेस्टर तो है ना, पर सेमेस्टर को तो उसका पेमेंट की बात है। हाँ जो तो एक मिनट हाले नहीं होता है। आप बारी होते पता नहीं कलर होते। सब पता है सबका
I can come over.
Did you go to 16, which means that the maximum? I mean, we haven't, I haven't asked for arrays. There are no arrays yet. None of them are using arrays. But this method is saying create a method that will prompt the user to enter 10 numbers, and there should be a prompt for each number. So please input number 1, please input number 2, and then once the user has entered final. I just, this one is asking for the but let's do for the prompt. So where is the method? Okay. Yeah, that would be my next step. But right now, what you do is you read the first number, assume it is a maximum. So put it in max. So read the first number and put it in max. Now after that, every number that you read, compare it with max. If it is more, max changes. Otherwise, it will stay the minimum. Right? So you will need an array, but you may, I mean, eventually you will come to an array. But if an array is not there, all you say is keep reading, keep reading. Assume the first one is either the maximum or the minimum, and then as you read, start. You compare, right? Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Index is out of line. So you started with an array and you initialize it to an empty array. So now when you need an array, you have to say new int and how many do you need. With an array, you have to ask a space. So how many do you need? No, how many, it depends, so you don't even know how many numbers will be in. In the 16th question, you know 10, so you would say new int 10, and it will give you 10. But here, when you are initializing it just with brackets, it doesn't give any space. So when you try to put something in it, it says it's out of bounds. I haven't given any space. Okay, so let's try, remove that curly bracket and write new in the whole. And then we want anything, so blank. And then in brackets, so say 10, for example. Okay. So now you can read 10, 0. So you won't get the data bound. If you try to give another number like 11, then it will be. Now what do you say? Whatever is there, what is the doing? An error or something?
Oh, it's just highlighting.
Okay, try now. So you can read only 10, not more than 10. So you try reading 10, and then on the 11th one, you will have the same index of the points. Stop. So maybe somewhere random number between 0 and 100, put it in the memory location, memory location is 0. If this is not equal to 0, what was your first number? Yeah, so you're just doing a normal if. But if you want to keep asking the user, you have to use a while. Remember, if only was one check. Okay? So the index of the bounds was simply saying you have to allocate space to. Arrays have to be allocated space. That's how you allocate. Okay? But that's only 10, so you can put the 11th number. You can go from 0 to 9, and that's it. So if you try to put the 11th number, you're going to get the index of the bounds again.
Okay.
We are not using arrays here. For students who have done a little bit of programming, may try to use arrays, that's up to you. But I haven't taught arrays, so I'm not expecting arrays, okay? Done? Okay, let's see your answers. Okay, so let's start from the first one. I think maybe you would have done a series. Okay, so question number 1. Okay. Question number 2 was, okay, now do you see something in question number 2? That you have a comma at the end after the 10, which is looking odd. You can always put an if statement that if I've reached the limit, I don't put a comma. Or if it is not very important, we can use tab and it doesn't matter. Instead of a comma, just use \t and it will put some blank spaces between them. Right? But now this looks odd because you said put the number and the comma and then it looks odd. Okay, so that was same happening everywhere, right? Okay.
So if it is correct or not correct, it will just say it is correct or not.
Okay.
That was question
But remember, 11 was not saying, 11 was also returning a true or false? Oh, only
it
was
was
it?
just once.
What was 11 doing?
Yeah.
Create a method, accepts a string and returns true. It wasn't even telling you to print anything. It returns true or false. That's how you can use it in 12 because it returns a true or a false. So change that, right? 12 will be printing. So now again, the other thing, it says create a method and that's not a method.
I created a method new, which will accept and return. Yeah.
Okay,
Which
so
will accept and return true or false.
okay, so that's 11.
Method, yeah.
Oh, so then 12 was saying you to print. So 11 was not saying any printing to be done. It was question number 12 which said print.
Until I asked you, so you said that just do it once in 11 and
Oh, when I said once in 11, I said write the method in 11 and use it in 12. Okay, that's okay. Just remove that and it will work. There's no problem there. Okay, so now question number, okay, so now let's go back to your output. So that's all you have to change. You have to just remove that extra. Okay, so now try to enter invalid and valid. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's okay. Now what was question number?
they use do while loop.
Oh, okay, so the same thing in do while. Okay. The advantage of do while is you can give first and check, right? Okay.
And it will run method is to.
Two. Okay. So again, let's try not to do it. Oh, it took, yeah. So let's try not to do it. I want to see whether it gives you the right number of attempts.
Don't give it the first time, okay? So try again. 3, 4. Now give it right one. 6. How many attempts did you do? So now, yeah, so give 6 now. That's how. So basically, oh, okay, now there's something wrong here. You only create the random number once.
Okay.
Right? Otherwise, the whole purpose. No, but then how will you play a guessing game? What is a guessing game? I think of a number once and you keep trying. Is it this Anju? Is it this Anju? Right? I'm saying, what is he doing? Like, so therefore, just one random number to be created once, and then user tries to, and therefore I've said how many attempts does it take?
Yeah.
Okay. So remove the 11 print and then make a change here. Make sense?
Yeah.
The guessing game is only to create a random number because the computer thinks of a random number and the user tries to guess it. You have a question, Noah?
Yeah.
Why is it? Okay, so take a variable, call it integer into 0. Every time user is giving you an answer, increment it up. So that's, no, it's just, I've just said how many attempts did you take. So take, it's like a counter variable, right?
So guys, the onus lies on you. If you complete this lab, you will learn a lot. If you don't, then it's entirely up to you. I have to start placing onus on you guys also. But I'm open to help. You can come in my office hours. You can ask me questions in class. And one day I'll put up the solution. The only thing is, I won't today or tomorrow, but I'm working on it too. Like you are working, I'm working on it too. I just made the loop exercise yesterday. Not yesterday. I took it from Jarrett and just kind of changed it. Okay, so create a method. Invalid password. So method has to be created outside the main. Keep that in mind, okay? A method is created and make it a private method. Come over, Shini, no problem. Okay. You're done? Okay, let's see it running. Oh, you're using Eclipse too. Okay, so let's go. That's fine. I'll let you do it. I haven't used Eclipse for a while. It was very popular a few years back. Okay, now let's go. So that was the first one. Question number 2 was on the same line. Okay, notice something? You have a comma after the 10 outs. You should. What can you do? You can check if you're at the end and then not put it. Okay. Or the other option is instead of commas, we can put tabs, /T, and then you don't have to worry about it. But the situation may arise that separate by commas. And again, just for neatness, I would try to leave a space after the comma. But notice this will come everywhere because you never checked the limit.
Right.
So it's looking odd. It's not incorrect, but it's odd. Do you ever put a comma at the end? No. Okay, so then we went 0, 4, 8, 12, and then we went in for loops, then again a for loop, 0 to 33, 33 to 3. Question number 11. Oh, please input your password. I think all it did was create a method. It didn't do anything else. It returned a value true or false. Question number 12 was ask a password or not. Right? Okay, so you don't have, I mean, you don't even, I didn't even tell you to check it. Now 12 is going to check it. Okay, now let's try. Okay. Okay, so now let's try it again. Yeah.
Try wrong password again.
No, let's do happy. Okay. Oh, the 3 was do while. Okay, 13 was opposite. Okay. Did you do an equals or an equals ignore case?
So
equals.
Equals, because passwords are case sensitive. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. Now, what random number did you
This is just for check.
check? So 0 is okay. 0 is what? I think I said 1 to 10. Or did I say 0?
0 to 10.
0 to 10. So the created random number is 0. That's okay. Let's try to give wrong ones. 3, 6. Let's put a 0. Okay. And now a 0. So 4 attempts. Oh, where did the 4 attempts end? But I took 4 attempts, right? No, you said 3. 1, 2, 3, and that was my 4th attempt. Your answer is wrong. So somewhere you kind of missed a +1. So double check that. Okay. So the teen one said if any one of them is teen, right? So the last one should be false. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now what was 16? I forget. Oh, the maximum or the minimum?
Yes.
Okay. So keep putting numbers. Negative and positive are allowed?
I didn't feel clear about that.
But yeah, that's okay. But it will work fine because the logic should not change, right? Your input number 2 is 7. Okay, so I don't need to see that, but that's okay. So 3, 7, let's put a -1. Yep. 7 has occurred twice now, right? So now let's, how many? 10 of them?
Yes, 10.
Okay, 8. Okay. We are only at 7. Okay, 19. Okay, go ahead. Put another negative number. That's okay. Yeah. It will work. The loop, I mean, the logic is just finding out the positive. Okay. Okay, now the last one. One more. 10 to go. Let's put, I don't know. Let's put 44. That way we'll know that's the maximum. Okay. So now try to run this with negative numbers and see if the result is still right. So give all input as negative when you check again. Okay. Okay. Now what is this one? Same thing. Minimum.
Right.
Minimum. Okay. Let's only put negative numbers. Okay. So go -1. And how do I stop my input? Or is it how many
Press
numbers?
0.
Plus 0. Okay. So -1. All negative. -2. -12. And now 0. More than enough. So -12 should be the minimum. So it will work. Logically, you don't have to think about, oh, I didn't take care of that. But all you did was, are you bigger or are you smaller? Okay. Is that it? 17?
Yes.
Good. Good job. Let me put your name for participation and checking that I checked it. And that way, if we have, if I'm putting a big if here, because I don't want people not to say, but bonus marks are always good, right? It's Shinhi, right? Are we done? So just the random number onwards? It is doable, guys. Don't feel stressed. If you can't do it now, go. You can finish it, but try to finish it. Okay, so oh, so you entered the right one right away. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, just try to put. Yeah, I want to see if it works. Otherwise, how will I know, right? Okay, now put that. Okay. This is a guess. Okay, so what is it? Okay. Random number. Oh, but why is it asking the question first and showing me the random number afterwards? But the print has to come outside the loop, right? The print statement should be at the beginning of the loop. Yeah, and it will, this way it will show for 10 times, and we don't want to do that, right? That's okay, that's not a big deal, but it will show every time. And now tell me something. You've used a for loop there. Come back to your code. You've used a for loop there and you've said I is equal to 0, I is greater than 0, I plus plus. What does that mean? And then you had to use a break, which is not a good way of programming. Couldn't you just say while the number that the user, do while the number the user is giving is not equal to the random number? Do while user input is not equal to, yeah, but then you have to think of the loops, right? So that's not the correct loop to use, because look at the condition. I is equal to 0, I greater than equal to 0. Seems like it will never end, right? So it's not wrong. Logically, it's not wrong, but it's not the best solution, right? So I would use a do while, not even a while, because in a while I have to kind of check first. So do while will be the best way to do it, okay? That's just for your information.
Okay, so let's try that. Now keep going with this one. So,
Any number or
any
the
number.
correct
No, not the correct one. First, I want to see any number, any different number. Now give one. So 2 attempts should be made.
Because the first, the second, and the third.
Oh, you
when
did
I
a 5
did one,
before.
yeah.
Okay, okay, that's fine. Now what is this one? Oh, in the opposite way.
No.
No.
The other thing, to guess between, to guess the numbers and if it is between 13 and 19, it will return true.
Okay. I can't remember that question. Okay. Oh, the teens.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
teens,
the
yeah.
teen one. Okay.
I'm entering the correct one.
Oh, right. You know what? You didn't have to. I had given you call statements. All you had to do was uncomment them and it would do it. I'd already written the call statements for you. You didn't have to enter anything. Sure. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's a team. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So how many times did you do this? Okay, without the team, let's do 1, 2, 3. So how many times did you run it?
No,
Oh, this is
it
question 16 now.
another question, yeah.
Okay. What was 16? The maximum of the numbers.
Yes.
Okay, so 10 numbers had to be put in, right? Repeat a number. Okay,
56.
yeah. Put a minus number. Okay. So 90. Okay. So the 17 is the opposite. Okay, start putting negative numbers only. Minus 3, minus 5, minus 15, and now a 0.
Minus 10, it goes to 10 numbers.
No, the 17 question said input stops by taking 0. See, to enter numbers, input stops. So you have to change that. Okay?
So the onus is on you. You complete it, you show it to me, you can take bonus marks. But once I put up the solution, then of course I don't mark it. So you have today. It's a good time. You can maybe take tomorrow and that's it. Then once I put a solution, then I'm not marking it. But this way I can give you bonus marks. And again, things can be done in different ways. So when I give you the solution, I'll say this is a better way of doing it. So if do while is a better loop instead of a while or a for, think about it. Okay? Let's do this. In my program, work. So the question said write a method called hash key. The method should accept 3 integers as arguments. The method should return true with any of these. So you just it doesn't matter. And then I've already written. I've called the method 4 times. So you write the method and then this should say true. You will uncomment that and no number. So there you go. Right? It is going as parameters. It's going as parameters. Yeah, so this question says write a method called hash key. The method should accept 3 integers as arguments. Arguments means as parameters. So where is the method? Okay, so it has 3 parameters. Okay. And then you uncomment all my statements and it will return true. I already checked. You've done it with 2. Okay, so I've done it with 3. So ultimately this will return. So you can print it. So every one of them must lie between 13 and 19. So if this and this and this, right? All 3 must be between them. Or is it saying only any one? Was it saying all any one or all 3? The method should return true if any. So or this or this or this. That's it. So the first number lies between 13 or 19, or the second one lies between 13 or 19, or the third one. Just a compound condition. No. So we'll take 3 inputs and we'll check this. And we'll check whether you are between the limit, or you will return true. Right? Most welcome. Keep in mind, your work must be individual. Okay, and when you show it to me, You're coming and saying, yes, I did it. I didn't copy it from somebody. So going out of class doesn't mean starting copying. I know it. Done? Finished? Those were the 70? Okay. What's your name? Monday. There's a Braj and there is a Vande that I get confused between. And Vande's last name?
Parekh.
Parekh. I'll find you. I don't think I have another Vande, but I'll keep. Shinhi, what's your? Oh, she's gone. I mean, there's only one Shinhi, but it's nice to just put names completely. So we have ample time. We still have 45 minutes, so you are most welcome to complete it and show it to me. Yeah, we are done. You are done for the day.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing is the things that I mentioned about why should you use a for and so on.
Right.
You have to keep that in mind. Okay.
So when doing the do
Mhm.
question,
Yeah.
and the end of one is sure
Okay, so what are you doing? The 12th question says keep asking for a password from the user. So do while the user has not given the right password.
Yeah. If the condition is wrong, then also do while loop will execute the one time event, right?
It does. It does. So you can put a if in there and return straight away to it.
Right.
Yeah. Does it say to use a do while?
Yes, it says to use the do while question. That's why I was like,
Yeah. So in between you can say if this and you can put a return and it will come up.
We have to use a do while, but we have to use if returns.
Okay, so using a do while loop and the invalid password method, set up a loop that will keep asking the user for a password until they put in the correct password. So do while is because asking checking is a better one. So the question is clear and I'm not sure. So one thing in the question it says use a do while loop. So I don't know why you used a for one then. Question number 13, where you had that odd for loop. The question said use a do while.
Well, if it's do while, then we have to use.
Yeah, I used the do while in 13.
So which one was the for one that was an odd one? 12.
The random number one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 14.
14.
14,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Use where it says use a do while, it's good. It doesn't say it's up to you. But again, if I see it, I'll kind of let you know what would be better. And if it makes sense to you, then you can incorporate it, right?
I'm still not sure how to use if in do while.
Okay, so what does the question say? The question says using a do while and the invalid method, set up a loop that will keep asking the user for a password until they put in the correct password. You don't even need an if. So do while user input is not equal to the password is what you have to do.
I just have to print that it's not correct. Again, take an input from the user.
Until they put in a correct password. So you just have to keep asking till the user puts in happy. Right? So and which method will you use? You will use 11 to check is it correct or not.
What if my password is correct in the first time, but again it would ask the user to enter a new password?
No, it won't.
Because when my loop, because first I would,
So you will say do, ask.
Ask for the password.
That's it. What else? Nothing. And then you call that method. You call that method that's returning a true or a false. You use 11. Did you create a method for 11?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Let's see the method first. Where is the method? The 11 method. Check password. No, it was called invalid password.
Oh, I have made a check password.
Okay, and what does it return? It accepts a string as an argument and returns true if the password is invalid. Okay, so let's see.
I haven't made a return statement. I have made it in a word.
But
Got that.
That's why you use 11 and 12. Okay, so you have to read them properly to do the right job. So it says create a method, accepts a string as an argument and returns true if the password is invalid, false otherwise. And it's telling you what is the password. So now you will use this method and call it in 12 to see whether your input is correct or incorrect. Okay? So they're linked. So don't create your own system print statement or anything. And it's, again, I'll repeat, guys, you never print in methods. It's a big no-no, except for display the purpose or things like that. And returns true if the password is invalid. Okay. So return true if the password is invalid. It's a one-line method. The question number 11 is a one-line method.
Sixteen.
16?
Yeah, does it have to be an int, a byte?
Question number 16, create a method that will prompt the user to enter 10 numbers. Usually when we work with maximum and minimums, we work with integers because of the infinite floating numbers and how they are stored. So just normal integers
Okay.
is the easiest.
All right. Thank you.
Though you could with floats, but what if I give 24.56 and 24.560 something? You know what I mean? So we'll work with integers. The logic will not change, but logically easy, exactly. You're not putting in a lot of effort. Call me over, I can come over.
I just want to know if it's correct if I do it like this, if you like it or not.
It's not about liking, it should be correct, okay? So it says using a while loop and the invalid method, set up a loop that will keep asking the user for using a while loop, it says. It doesn't say do while.
Oh,
No,
okay.
you've used it do
Only
while.
one. Okay.
I mean, I'm just trying to test you on different things, okay?
All right.
So using a while loop and the invalid. So you're saying, please enter your password, you take it from the user, but let's use next line instead of next. Let's use next line because then the user will enter something and press the return.
All right.
If you use next, that enter stays in the buffer and you'll have problems.
Oh.
Next line, L capital, line total. L capital, IN. The method is called next line, the name of the method. It's completely called next line.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, so while, okay, now with passwords we are going equals because equals are,
Okay.
with the password, where is the method that you wrote for password? 11.
Here.
No.
Password happy.
No. Question number 11.
Here.
Where
Put
is,
it in comments.
okay, so you have to write a method called invalid password. So you will write that method and you will call it in 12 to check it.
Okay.
Okay, so 11 you have to write the method and in 12 you have to use the method. Vandit, I wouldn't help a lot, okay? Help is okay, but a lot means then he won't learn. So helping friends is fine, but you're not doing you're basically doing his job, which is, he won't learn. Let him do it, let him make mistakes. If he gets stuck, direct him, but don't type for him or don't say things, okay? The whole purpose is lost then. I mean, it's for his good. And if he doesn't want to, that's fine.
Excuse me. This programming fundamental submit the says that my total mark is 25 because I didn't submit assignment 2. So I'm not counting those marks, 15%.
Yeah, so
that is-
23 out of 25 into 5% is what you got in the first assignment.
Okay. Yeah.
And I haven't yet marked your final.
Final, yeah.
So you email me and I'll mark it so that you know whether you're passing the course or not.
Okay. So how will I know if I'm passing or not?
You need 50% to pass the course. So we've done 50% till now. So if you only have, say, 10% or
Yeah,
20%,
okay.
so you have to be careful that I only have 20, I need 30 more. Will I be able to do it? Is what you have to think about.
Until
So
I
if you
didn't
want,
submit and I was late, so I thought it is meaningless to submit now. So I
it,
didn't
it
submit.
closes automatically at 12.
Yeah.
Like if I keep doing this, then people will just keep submitting whenever they want, and there won't be a rule. So the rule is there is a due date and a due time, right?
And the midterm exam was how many percentage?
30.
30. Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Email me and I'll mark it today, and then I can kind of give you a picture of where you stand. That's what I've been doing with students who've kind of missed an assignment, for example, and now they're worried, right? Yeah, so 5 for the first one, 15 for the second, and 30 for the third. Send me and I'll try to mark it today. I'm doing it randomly, like that's why I keep getting.
So I'm gonna head out. Do you want me to show you?
Yeah, please, here. So start running the program and let's see the results. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so 0 to 10. Notice something? You have a comma at the end of a list where you shouldn't have it. Okay, that's okay. Just so that you pay attention when something is asked, because it seems, oh, it's incomplete, right? Okay. So after that, you just went 33 to 3. Okay, go down. Question number 5 was, see, same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, 0, 4, 8, 12 is correct. 1 to 10, 7. 0 to 4, 6, 10. 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, that's correct till 33. And then the opposite of 33. Okay, so okay, enter the password. Now, did it say you had to enter the password? It just said write a method, but you're double checking it.
Yeah.
Okay, but that double checking is coming in question number 12 automatically.
I had no idea.
Okay, go ahead. Don't give the right password. So if K is false, it returns true if the password is invalid. Not false, it returns true.
Okay. Sorry, I just did it like.
Yeah, but I know, but that's
Yeah.
why the method was called invalid password.
Okay.
Okay, so now it's working the opposite. Okay, so give passwords now. Let's see when it stops. So keep giving till you give a happy, right?
Yeah.
So more, yeah. Give happy now. Yeah. It should stop. Okay. Now what is 13?
Using a do while loop.
Oh, the same thing. Okay,
Yeah.
so do what again? Okay. Now put the question 10. Guess a number. Okay. But what was the random number? Did you print it out in the first
No,
one?
I didn't. So
Okay,
it's
so
put your
so
0
that
and
way you
10.
can at least double check if it was right or wrong. Okay, so 15 and 16, why together?
I don't know.
Oh, 15, remove these lines, uncomment them, and then it will tell me whether true, false, true, false. So you've written the method, I've checked it.
Okay, I don't think I did 15. I think I did everyone but 15.
Okay, so 15 you haven't done, so put it comment back. Otherwise it
Okay.
will say I can't find it.
Okay.
How is it going? What happened? Finished? You're getting there?
I got to do whiles.
You still have time, you know that. Tired?
I'm just gonna work overnight, and then I was thinking I'll come visit you tomorrow.
Okay, then see that, yeah, and I want to see it because after tomorrow I'm not marking it, right?
After-
Even for bonuses, I'm not.
After math, do I need an appointment to stop by your office? Or
Tomorrow is Tuesday, right? Oh, tomorrow is our heavy day. So maybe I don't have an office hour tomorrow. So try to come at 11 in my office. That's my break in between. Okay?
Thanks.
So this is the number 16 where you have to enter 10 numbers?
Okay, and finds the maximum.
Yes.
Okay, give negative numbers also. Okay, it will work, don't worry. If the logic is right, it will work. Okay, now give a number.
So this one's the same. This is the one I did with an array though. So you enter in.
And stop at 0. Input stops at 0.
Yes.
Okay, so give negative numbers only now. I only want to,
negative?
yes. Okay, give a 0 now. So the smallest, so something is wrong. You took 0 also as input.
Yeah.
Okay, so set that one right, and then the 13th one which you haven't done.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes. Yes, somewhere you have some questions. So let's go back when you were doing the question. What is the last one? So before that, you're missing the questions. Opening curly, I don't see it. I mean, that there will be more, okay? But I just saw it, right? Okay, so this is not inputting 3 numbers at all. This is input as arguments. So 3 numbers comes with a number. Right? You make 3 input lines. And all you have to do is the first one like 3, 13, and 19, or the second one, or the third one. So a compound solution. This or this or this. So take 3 parameters here, and you will work. Look at my question. So I've already given you our. Okay, so all question number 15 is saying write a method this. This method should accept 3 integers as arguments. Right? And the method should return true if any of the arguments are in this range. And then I've given you my system. Uncomment them and it will return me. So you have to pass, and I've already passed those 3. Your job is just to write them. Right? No input from the user, nothing. The has team 15th question, arguments means it is going as parameters. Okay, that's what arguments means. You don't have to ask the user. So it says the has team method takes 3 arguments from the user. 3 arguments means 3 parameters. Remember, they are called parameters in the signature, and you call them arguments when you pass it a value. All you do is check, are you between 13 and 19? So you do this or this or this. You make a compound condition. And there you go. Done. 3-line code. Oh, okay. Okay, I will. I'll try to do it today. Don't worry. By tonight, you should have an answer from me. Okay, I have one before you, so whenever I get time, I'll do it.
System out principle.
Nothing. You're only returning a true or a false.
Are they going in the main? Or are they-
Okay, so there is a method, right?
Yeah, just.
And this method returns a Boolean value.
Okay.
And all you have to check is that it is taking 3 parameters. So put in parameter list. 3 integers are coming to it. So int first, int second, int third. Whatever you call it. Yeah, I wouldn't, but that's okay.
Cartesian points.
Yeah, so these are ages, right? So you could say age 1, age 2, age 3, right? But okay, anything will do, but X, Y, Z are not good names. Okay, so the aim now is you check, is age 1 between 13 and 19?
Okay.
Or if age 2, or if age 3. If any of these 3 ages are between teens, between 13 and 19, return true as return false.
And now this.
All
is
this,
staying in the method.
this is staying in the main, because then you uncomment it, and then it will tell me whether your method is working or not. So I've put in those comments to check whether your method works. Okay?
The last one just involving the math
Okay.
class.
Okay, no. I don't want you to use the math. I want you to write the method.
Okay.
And two. 10 numbers? Bad job. You will read, you use a while loop to read it, keep reading from the user, and keep comparing with so you can't use the math. So this is the logic. Read from the user. The first number you read, assume it is the maximum.
Okay.
So put it in the max, right? Now for the rest 2 to 10, keep comparing it with max. At the end of the method, max will have the greatest value.
Okay. Oh no. Okay, that makes sense.
Make sense? Right. So you cannot do it this way, because think about it. If I say 50 variables, then will you declare 50 variables? No, right? So the loop takes it, reads the first value, assumes it is the maximum, and then after that keeps comparing. So at the end of the loop,
If it is less,
Yeah,
just keep the same. If
exactly.
it's higher, just change
yeah,
it.
perfect. You got it. Guys, this assignment that you're doing will give you a lot of practice in different things. The string class, the random class, the while loops. There's so many things you will learn from this exercise. So please do it. And if you have to import any classes, please see that you import them. You can do java.util.star for both scanner and random class. And the math class, I think. They're all there. Okay, so if you finish it, you were quite close. You're right. You're almost at 30.
2 questions left.
Okay.
I just don't have to go now. So how do you want me to show the input? Do you just want me to send screenshots?
Just email me the program. The .java
Okay.
program, email it to me.
Thank you.
Okay.
The second thing is needs a method. So you have to write a method outside the main, and then you and you don't use the equals operator to replace two. You use the dot equals. So dot equals, write the word equals, and put happy in brackets for you. So what are you saying? You're saying compare password with happy. So if it is equal, it will happy, it will return true, isn't it? So you cannot use the equals operators when you compare the strings. So password is a string and happy is also a string. Right? So there's an equals method, and if you were not concerned about the case, then you equal is no case. But here, since passwords are case sensitive, it will be. But you have to write a method. So it has not to be done here. This code has to go inside the method outside. Okay? So write a method, and that returns true or false. Kind of lost, okay. Method. And this is outside the main. Okay. Not okay, so here. So basically, you go to method. I think it said it takes. Does it ask that you, okay, create a method called it accepts a string as an argument. So it's taking a string, put a string. So it takes a string, call it anything, call it password. So it accepts an argument, okay? And you can't do it here, you have to move it outside me, but you're writing it here and then you can call. What does this method? So the method is called invalid password, accepts a string as an argument. So you just call it password, you can call it anything. And returns true if the password is invalid. Okay, so you want to return true if the password is not equal to that. Right? Okay, so how do you do that? Okay, so we are not asking anything from the user. It's coming as your argument. It's coming from outside. Okay, as an argument. Now you want to say if my password, right password, whatever is coming, we call it password, right? If it equals, not equals, ignore case because passwords are case sensitive. What do you want to compare it to? Happy, right? Happy. Okay. What do you want to return if it is equal? Returns true if the password is invalid and false otherwise. So if they're equal, so say return true. Done. As return true. I can make this shorter, but I won't make it for you now. But when you see my solution, it is a one line. Then that's what you have to do, right? But now this is a method, and so you need another brackets for the method. And you copy this code from here and put it outside main. It is an independent method. You can't write a method inside the method. You are in main right now. No, question number 11 is in, oh, so you copied it here, okay. So now, why is it saying the problem? Why is it false? Because what should you be returning? Boolean. Make sense? Make sense? Good. That's okay. Now you have it. And you said it makes sense, so you know. It says it takes an argument. Read the question. That's the first thing you don't do, guys. You don't read the question. Accepts a string as an argument. Yes, you're sending some string, right? Okay, so now go down here. The first thing you have to do is put a string here, right? And then all you have to do is compare what you're giving with the word happy.
Yeah. So I just compare that.
Yeah, not just equals, not equals. So whatever is coming, you have to, suppose you call it pass. So if not pass equals, put hello in double quotes inside the line. You're comparing it with hello, right?
So I return statement. I return.
You can say return false and return true right here. You don't have to put it in an SS to return.
Oh, I should return.
But
Yes.
I cannot use two return statements, right?
But one is in else and one is in if. They're not two return statements, they're mutually exclusive, right? And you don't put false in double quotes. False is a Boolean value. No, not return equal to return, only return. And then the return type will be Boolean. And then your pass will come as a password, string pass.
And I didn't take the input from the user.
Call it string pass. You don't have to. That taking the input is in question number 12. And you don't need any of this. Start from line number 1, remove all of them. You don't need anything. Not even the pass. Nothing, because it's coming as a parameter. You just have to compare that pass. And now I don't know, right? So, no, you don't even need that. It's already here, it's coming.
But
That's all.
how that pass will come at
Whoever will call the method. How are you concerned right now? Whoever will call the method will call it with invalid password and will pass you a string. That will happen in question number 12.
Okay, so in this we are just making a
Yeah.
method.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
what it said. Didn't it say write a method? So you're not writing two return statements. They are mutually exclusive return statements. You can't say return, return, return without anything. Then it will complain. But here you're saying if this happens, return this as return. Then the less
So-
number of variables you have, the better it is. Now I can tell you whether you're doing the right thing or not.
So I'll store this into another variable there and I'll then check.
First remove the ignore case because passwords are case sensitive. Nothing, it returns true false. Finished job. Now you do 12 and 12 will tell me whether 11th was written correctly or not.
So then I'm doing 12th one.
Okay, now you're doing the 12th one. Now you have to write a while loop here and you have to use that method.
So I
To check.
I just called my method and I stored it in a result.
Yeah. And then that will be of type boolean. You don't even have to put it in a result. You can write that condition right here. Why do two things,
Yeah, we
right?
can do that.
Just put it right here.
We'll then result of
Now you will use your method here. You will say while invalid password and pass it,
I
whatever.
can directly use.
Yes, it says using a while loop and the invalid password method, set up a loop that will keep asking the user for a password till they put in the correct password. Right?
But I'll put false in the like this only.
You don't have to say. You can use, if you say while invalid password, you're checking while it is true.
Oh, that means the same.
Yes, you don't have to say equals false. And anyway, it is not a string.
Yeah.
You can equals with this false variable. So remove equals, remove the loop. Okay, this means while it is true. So if this returns true, this is while true. If you put a not in front of it, it means while false.
So
Got it?
if I put not, then it,
While you're saying while false.
then I'll again send it into the.
Now what you do is you have to do, but I'm telling you the meaning of the while, right? So when a method returns a true and you want to say are you true, you just say while. So it's like while it is raining. You don't have to say while raining is equal to. But if you want to compare Boolean values, you don't use the equals method. You say while is equal to true without the quotes, right? True and false in quotes are strings, right? Now you figure out
Yeah.
the while. But you will use the invalid method to use in the loop. Guess if people's asking something. Yes.
I'm not sure what I'm saying well. So I think we can, the max number.
But what is the max number to start with?
0.
Yeah, but what if I give negative? You can't assume it is.
Well, no, that's just what the default. You can put negative numbers,
But
but
then if you
seeing if
assume-
the biggest one is bad or not.
Okay, but suppose it is, how can you assume zero is the biggest or not the biggest? You don't assume it. What
It's
you
not
do
the
is,
biggest, that's just what it starts with.
but if I give all positive numbers with zero be positive, see, this is I tell you what you do, so that you don't rely on anything. You read in the first number and make it the maximum. And then compare it with what happens as you do.
But
No, but you have assumed that the maximum number is zero.
I can just put it as null.
No, but then it's not, it's a basic data type, you can't give it time. That's why I'm saying, read the first number and make it the maximum. So what does it say? A while or a do while? What does the question say? Use a while loop or a do while?
Uh,
Okay, so create a method that will prompt the user to enter 10 numbers. So it doesn't say anything. There should be a prompt for each number. Once the user has entered all 10 numbers, the method should return the highest. Okay, now I'm not going to do that. So it's better if we do a do while instead. Okay, so do while. Please enter a number, but it also wants to say number 1, number 2. That's what it is telling you. Okay, so now you need, okay, take things, don't go with close when you're talking about this number because that's not. Okay, so you read the number. Now the first thing you will do is, so after the next after that semicolon, yeah, make an answer. Yeah, do that. Now assume that max is this number. And then, so therefore, the method says it takes 10 numbers and kind of says what is input 1, number 2, number 3. So you're not writing it. So I can kind of tell you where you're going.
We
Okay, you ask me your question and then maybe I can answer your question, but you're not doing it. It says, take 10 numbers from the user and find the maximum.
So use the method to not ask for the numbers.
No, so you ask for 10, okay? And you find the maximum 10, but you say, where will I keep those 10? I have to save them somewhere, but you can't save them anywhere, you can't do the 10 anywhere. So this is what you will do. You will read the first number outside the loop, and you will say max is that number. And then you will do the rest of the loop. You need 9 numbers.
Okay.
Right? So you read the first number and make it the maximum. And then read the rest of the 9 numbers and keep comparing it to the maximum. If it is more, then the new maximum gets set.
Was there a method you did?
No? But it is a while loop. It's a loop. Right?
And here I've told you the logic. For maximum and minimum, here is the logic. Read your first number and assign the value to max or min, right? And then for the rest of the 9 numbers, because it says read 10 numbers in all, right? So read your first number, put it into maximum. For the rest of the 9 numbers, read them and compare it with max. If the max is more, leave it alone. If the max is less, give the new value to max. That's how you will do it. You're still using a loop. Never assume, oh, the max is 10 or the max is null, because max is an integer, int, and ints cannot be assigned the value none. Yeah. How do you do it?
Well, yeah, because if I remove that, it's just going to go without the spacing.
Yeah, but what is sum doing? Oh, sum is your index. That's an odd name to give. Either use I or index to it. Sum seems as if you're adding something. Okay, use useful names. Okay, but anyway. So now you don't do a print ln, say print. Print, remove it, and then put a plus with it. After the sum, put a plus. And then in double quotes, put a comma. Put a comma and a blank. So what will it do? It will print 0, comma, whatever. Oops, that's extra. I don't know. Okay, so it will print, you started with, oh, what are you doing? It doesn't tell you to add anything. So see, you start with index as 2. While the value of index is less than or equal to 10, you want to print out index and you want to increment index by 2. So you don't need to do anything. Longer, yeah. So you are taking sum to be 0 and then you are adding 2 to sum. So ultimately it will work. The only problem with this one is there will be a comma after the last 10 also. So you'll have to put an if statement here that if I've reached 10, I don't want to put a comma. So if it is not equal to 10, print it this way. If it is equal to 10, print it without a comma. Okay? Yeah. But you don't need 2 variables. Guys, I'll have to move out because I think somebody will move in. But you have time today and you can come and ask in my office hours till Wednesday, okay? Okay, so it says required a string and you're passing, okay. So the invalid password needed a parameter from you, didn't it? You're not passing it? Where? Here, where? What does question 12 say? It says write a while loop and the invalid method. So you will ask the input. You don't have to write it here. Remove that line absolutely from it. And put the pass here. There. Remove the last line also. Because you're calling it in the while. So you read it once, you check it, you say, no, not this, you check, you have to say invalid password because you're keeping it, you are asking if it is invalid. You have to say invalid, try again. No, that's not it. So, but how will I know whether, so that's okay, you are saying I will ask again. But how will I know why are you asking?
So the error message is missing. So before the system, oh, leave that there. Before this, write another system which will say invalid password. And therefore you're asking. Okay?
I have to leave, right? I have to leave the room. Let me save my stuff so that if I have to rush, I can rush. Yeah, work on it. Nobody is telling you have to. Work on it, work on it. No, just work, you will get it. Catch me anytime and come and show it to me. Guys, I can answer your questions, but we'll have to maybe leave the room. So I can answer your questions outside the room, okay? Let me just hibernate my system. Okay, I just have to answer.